I feel like we should have planned this better.
This podcast or our lives?
Yes.
Great. Let's do it. Welcome to Location Confused.
2 friends, too many countries, and no idea what day it is.
We talk nomad life, travel stories, and everything people don't tell you about living this way.
This is mostly us chatting and gabbing, so let's start.
That's how we start the pod.
Yeah,
That's how we
there
go.
they are.
It's
not a cult. It's not a cult. It's not a cult.
It's cult adjacent.
It's cultish. Anyway, welcome back.
Welcome back. Yeah, here we are. Confused as always.
Yeah, confused, showing our only feet pictures.
Yeah, we'll blur that out so that way
Yeah.
we need a paywall.
Yeah, when she was doing them, I was like, they're not cute. Like the feet just really aren't cute. But like mine are not. Like shout out to my dad. I got his feet, and like so it's just like cool. Are you sure, Kayleigh? You sure you want to get? Sure you want everyone to be looking at your feet?
My question is, are you going to draw attention to the feet? Like, is this something? Okay. All right, cool.
Well,
no, I support
I
it.
already sent the picture to Johannes, and I was like, "Sup?"
Okay.
And he was like, "That's amazing." And I think people have done this before. Like, I'm not the like
You're
that
not the
that
OG.
has to be why it's in a half moon shape for nails.
It's the only reason. What else would it be? It's just that's insanity. Otherwise,
A cruise ship? No, that's a French Manny symbol. Hello.
that's what we're here for. The French
Yeah.
Manny.
Well, today we're going to talk about NomadCruise because I'm about to embark on my 3rd NomadCruise and my first without dear Heather.
Yeah, I tapped this one out. So you are on your own. I mean, you're on your own with like 299 other people, but you're on your own without, I can't be your emotional support person on this voyage, unfortunately. From afar. I'll send long distance support.
So we're going to talk a little bit about our experience so people can know what NomadCruise is about. And then I'll film some stuff. We'll film some stuff. We'll do some episodes maybe on the cruise, depending on how much time I have, because I'm helping out with this one. And it's only 12 days, which is hilarious now to say. It's like, oh, that's a quick one.
Does it? So it's funny because you say that it's 12 days and I was like, I can't be bothered to do a short cruise. Like I could never do a short cruise. But 12 days, I'm like, no, that's actually like a decent, the first one we did was 13 days. So I should be okay to do a 12-day cruise. I don't know how all of a sudden 14 days is like my minimum. I will not step foot on a boat for less than 14 days.
I mean, it's just funny because it's like 12 days and I look and I'm like, oh, it's a lot of days, or it's a lot of port days. You know, I think it's half and half. So I'm just like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think, so we're stopping, so we're leaving from Hong Kong. I'm in Hong Kong right now. And we're going to Brunei and we're going to another part of Borneo.
Okay. Oh, there's 2 Borneo stops.
Yeah, I think it's
okay, interesting.
Malaysia. Oh, it's an island of Malaysia, like the island side, but the part of Malaysia. And then 2 stops in Vietnam. So I'm going back to Da Nang, and then Nha Trang. I don't know if I said that right, but I'm snorkeling there.
Nice.
Then we're going back to Hong Kong for 1 day, which is actually really nice because I haven't seen any of it. So that'll be exciting to actually like be able to get off the boat and not have all my stuff and just kind of do some sightseeing. And then we finish in the Philippines. So I guess we have 5 stops.
That's still, for a 12-day cruise, that's quite a few.
Yeah. But we're going to talk about past cruises and we're just going to kind of do Q&As of each other so people can get the idea of what the heck it is and how we found out about it and who's it for? Because those are all good questions and those are all things I asked myself, but the FOMO was real and I just pressed like purchase before I honestly knew more about it. But that's also okay. That's how I live life sometimes. So, Heather, what did you think about NomadCruise? What did you think it was before you went?
I honestly had no understanding, knowledge, thought of what it was. I mean, I'm a girly that lives her life with 0 expectations. I go into things without doing any research and just on vibes and recommendations. So I was told that this would be a great way to start my nomad journey, to make friends. So my only expectation or my only thought that it was basically a great place to network and meet people. That was it. That's all that I had.
Was there anything that made you, like, almost not book, or you were just like, "Send it"?
No, I just like pure impulse. I mean, the only thing that made me second guess after the deposit was paid, like after I had done that piece of it, was because it was me sort of, starting my journey. So I was thinking in my little old head, am I ruining my life? So that was a whole other bridge that I was crossing. It wasn't like I'm concerned about this Nomad cruise. It was more, am I going to hate my life if I start traveling? So very different thought process for me. I did have concerns though, actually, about doing the long cruise and almost like backed out of that one because I enjoyed the first cruise so much. I pretty much thought to myself, how could we potentially replicate all this fun and good times and meeting great people a second time? Like there's no way that the second one is going to be as good as the first?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I
that was me.
okay, quick pause. We've been talking about Nomad Cruise, and if you're listening, thinking, wait, could I actually do this? Well, you can. And we have a little hookup for you. You can get $100 off your next Nomad Cruise using our code LOCATIONCONFUSED100. Honestly, if you're even a little curious about meeting people in this lifestyle in one place, this is kind of the easiest way to do it. We'll drop the link in our show notes. Okay, back to the chaos. I booked because my friend Emily, shout out to Emily Eats and Explores. She basically got me into the like quit your job travel thing. I mean, she was ahead of me when she did that, and I knew that I was going to like quit healthcare and start traveling. So she was like my mentor for a while, and she signed up to speak on it, and she has a group called Travel Boss Membership, and I'm in it with, and there's a bunch of us in it that she sends out good travel. What do I want to say? Travel opportunities. Thank you. Okay. Travel opportunities. And yeah, so anyway, there was another girl that was in the same group, and we follow each other on Instagram. And I was in Mexico 6 months before the cruise, and Beth and I actually end up meeting in Mexico, and we traveled around for a couple weeks, and it was so fun. So when Emily was like, I'm going to go on this cruise, Beth and I were like, should we do it? Should we go to Japan? And so we booked knowing that we would be staying together. And then Emily was also speaking. So that's how I got into it. Like, I didn't know who Johannes was. And me coming from a medical background, all conferences are professional. So this like travel network and like nomad network is so different for me because at my medical conferences, we'd have like maybe some meetups, or dinners, but like nothing like what we're doing in the
Mhm.
nomad world, right? Like connecting, like actually trying to meet a community.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thrown off when it was, there was like deep connection workshops and breath work and yoga. And like, it kind of felt, this is just, again, my mindset for the first 30 years of my life was like, oh, this is kind of woo woo. Like, that's just like what I thought. But I didn't give myself the opportunity on the first cruise to embrace that. And I think I'm just in a different phase of life and very open minded to those things and trying those things out to have a community. So the second cruise was by far better for me, but
Mhm.
I had expectations going into it, knowing that I was like, okay, I need to keep an open mind because the first cruise I really was a little intimidated and overwhelmed. So I kind of stuck with Emily and Beth and, through things and didn't do a lot of the connection workshops. I did more of the business side ones, but it's
Mhm.
great that there's something I think for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, there 100% is. And I always tell people, they sort of say to me like, I don't necessarily I'm not an Instagram person. I'm not a um crypto person. I'm trying to think of all the buckets of like the typical, what people think that are some of the stereotypes that are on the cruise or the people that you'll just end up meeting. You know what I mean? So they sort of think I'm not one of these typical people that is going to, fall within these. And I always tell people like you end up meeting people no matter what, because there's going to be people that are in the same non-bucket bucket as you.
Mhm.
There's so many people, there's so many different personalities. And one thing that I love about the community is everybody is pretty welcoming. Like, we're all there for the same reason. We're all there to have community. That is the number one goal. It makes it easy to then meet people because people are eager to make friends.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so many people that they're not all nomadic. I've been pretty hybrid nomadic for the past couple years. Like I've been half in the States and half gone. And I mean, there's some people that like work a 9 to 5 and they either took
Mhm.
off or they're remote just so they can have this like it's like a group trip. I mean, it kind of is, right? But
Yeah.
it's more of strategically, like, business-based as well, so you can get some takeaways out of it, and I think I really enjoy that because before I've been on one cruise, like, 10 years ago, and I didn't it was fine, right? It was 3 days, it was fine, but I don't in my older age, as we do, I don't enjoy things that are just like, we have a whole day, like, I think, like, binge drinking, and I was like, I don't wanna just have all these hours where I can just that's, like, the only activity, and this is, like,
Yeah.
totally not that. You can
Yeah.
drink or you
Yeah.
don't have to, and there's a network of people for everyone, and so I think that's the cool concept. I mean, I changed my mind about, there's cruises for everyone too, so
Mhm.
definitely the one we were on was not the binge drinking type.
No, and I think that, yeah, it's the people who show up on the different cruises are very different as well. The market is very different. So the longer cruises, for sure, you're going to be getting more business. If there's no drink package, less partying is going to probably
Mhm,
happen, I would assume. Short cruise, cheaper cost, probably still drinking quite a bit, I would think. But it's, yeah, different focus, I would say. And if you're on a 27-day cruise, like, I am not built for 27 days of drinking.
mhm.
My liver has already been through the wash several times and can't handle that kind of partying anymore. So, I mean, it depends on the the group that you're with, and the people that you're with will change how your experience is too. So,
Yeah.
it's all
Well, and
different.
that's
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were, like, bummed because we did have a drink package on the one we were on, which was
Mhm.
NC-13,
Yeah.
and
The Japan one for the people who don't know the numbers.
yes, so that was Vancouver to Alaska to Japan, and that one, it's so interesting because the cruises we've been on have been the exact same ship. So, it's really interesting and, like, this in kind the same ocean. So, it's like we refer to NC-13 and we're going through, like, almost like Drake's Passage waters at one point, like, they didn't let us outside for 3 days. I think they had the doors chained up because we were going through to Alaska and then over what sea is that? Over the
Pacific?
Beringer? No, that, like, sea passage.
Oh, I have no idea. I am not that nautical.
But anyway, so to go to Japan and, like, our stops were all messed up because of the weather. We were, like, avoiding a typhoon at one point. And so
So
yeah,
everywhere they were surrounding us, and we
or was it
were
typhoon or was it cyclone? Yeah, I don't know what it
I think
was. I
I
was
just
like,
know
"Okay."
that it was a cyclone that was in, because yeah, a cyclone is like that's like a water tornado, like over water. So it was, I know in one of the stops, like the one port that we were supposed to do in Japan, they were like, "We won't be going there because there's a cyclone, guys."
Yeah, and then we were supposed to go I think our Alaska stops got changed, like, 3 times because they changed before we got on the boat, and then they changed while we were on the boat, and I'll never forget, I still forgot her name, but there was the one girl, her visa didn't go through for Canada, so she had to go from, like I'm pretty sure she was in South America, so she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fly to Sitka." And she flew to Sitka, and then her partner was on the boat. She did this during the story time. Her partner was on the boat and was like, "Yeah, so we're actually not going to Sitka." Like, it was like she landed and then had to get to Ketchikan instead of Sitka or something. I'll never forget that because 'cause I'm like, I couldn't imagine landing and being like, "Psych, we're actually not going there," like, and trying to get on the cruise. So, yeah, and so that happened, and then we were supposed to stop one port in Japan, avoided the cyclone, ended up just sitting at where were we?
Yokohama, an extra day.
For
We got in
2
an
nights
extra day, which
or
was
1 night or
so
whatever
nice of them.
instead,
Yeah.
so, yeah, it was kind of crazy. So we had a lot of onboard stuff, like, we did not stop. We didn't stop for, like, 6 days or something.
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like
Was it
8
more than
days,
that?
but
9
I could be
days?
completely wrong. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
guess it would've been
It felt like
9 or so
we were on that boat for
yeah.
our
And
whole
it was
lives.
so rocky, and it was just so funny because this past cruise, which was 27 days on the same boat, I mean, we were definitely going south. Like, we started off south, right? We started in
Mhm.
Seattle, but not once. I think when we circled Fiji, that was, like, the rockiest it got. Remember when
Well,
we went from
and
one port and we went around? And
yeah.
I was like, "Why are we"
The wildest thing is when we went out to this one part, when we were getting closer to it was after Vanuatu, and we were getting closer to Australia, and the waters were crystal clear calm, like, the calmest waters I've ever seen. I could not
Mhm.
believe it, like, it was like puddle calm. It was
Like a lake.
insanity. I was
Yeah.
literally in my head, I was like, "Are we still on the ocean? Did we somehow what has happened? Are we on the Truman Show? Is that actually what this is?" Because it was that level of calm. It was wild. Could not believe
Yeah,
it.
it was there, and I think there was a time, like, when we were getting close to Australia, that
Mhm,
we started to see other boats, and they were, like, cruise liners, but also, like, cargo ships and stuff, but I realized when we saw those, I was like, "Oh my god, I haven't actually seen another boat in, like, a few days," and maybe I missed them in the distance or whatever, but, like, as we got closer, I could see lights at night, like, one of our last
mhm.
nights or something, and I was like, "Whoa, we're actually" yeah, that was honestly, that was pulling into Sydney Harbor during sunrise is definitely the coolest one of the coolest memories. They knew we were pulling in then, it wasn't a surprise, obviously, it was scheduled, so we were up and, like, Chris had the silent disco headphones out for people that wanted to, like, I don't know, listen to music too. It was so incredible. That was such a good close to the ship.
Mhm.
So, all right. Also, a quick update. Johannes, the founder of NomadCruise, really didn't think we were serious about even starting a podcast. Like, fully thought this was one of those we should do this conversations that never happens. And now, here we are with microphones. So, naturally, we're going to bring him on the podcast and answer all of our questions and yours as well. I'm not even sure if this is going to be an informative episode or us just slightly roasting him for an hour. Probably a little of both. So, Johannes, if you're listening, this is your heads up. That episode is coming soon. Did you feel like you needed alone time during the cruise?
Did I feel like I needed alone time on the cruise? Yes. I'm a pretty extroverted person. I'm a pretty extrovert for the most part. I could people pretty regularly, pretty constantly for a long time. On the first cruise, I would actually go back to my cabin for 20, 30 minutes and just do like a quick recharge sort of every day. And that was because it was all meeting new people. So the first cruise was all meeting. Emily actually was the only person that I knew on that cruise ahead of time.
Mhm.
Outside of her, I didn't know anyone. So I needed a kick with all the newness of it all, right? So for the second cruise, I needed less alone time while simultaneously needing more. So on a daily basis, I needed less because I had people that I was quite good friends with already on this cruise with me. I had one of one of my closer friends that I've sort of had while traveling. We've been to a number of different places together. They were on the cruise with me. And then there were people that I had met previously, but we didn't spend that much time together. And we became very, very close very quickly on this cruise. Uh, but then I all of a sudden like hit a wall and I was like, I need a day to lay in bed and not talk to another living soul. And so I did that and it was fabulous and I enjoyed it. I think I did that one never, you know what, honestly, never a full day, but like an evening or something like that. I did that like 2 or 3 times and it was perfect. It was exactly what I needed. But outside of that, I didn't really take a whole lot of alone time, I don't feel like. But I'm also not one who regularly needs it. So, what about you?
Mhm. The first cruise, that's all I did was alone time. Again, very, very different experiences on 1 and 2, and I'm glad that I made the decision to go on a second one because my memory was like I would do room service all the time. Like Beth's introverted, and so it was easy for me to just like us to just chill in the cabin. And then I was like, I don't, I miss so much. I mean, I really did. Like, I would go to some sessions and I would come back to my room. So on the second cruise, I was the newbie nomad ambassador because I was like, I'm going to force myself to integrate and make sure I'm like getting the max amount. And I think because I did that, I like I just was so tired by the end. I really needed alone time, but I loved my roommate. I got so lucky. I had a random roommate this time around, Anita, and she was fabulous. Uh so it was good. Like, it wasn't, like, awkward where I'd go back to my room. She was there and it was a great situation. But I just didn't really go back to my room a lot, and I think we had a lot of programming that I didn't wanna miss, and I think if we could do that one different, which that was the first time I've ever done 27 days because it was the 10-year anniversary of Nomad Cruise. I would love a couple more free days outside of porting. Like, I think we only had like 3 total where we had nothing planned because outside of the core speakers and workshops, everyone wanted to do meetups too, which was great. We had a meetup for, I mean, literally anything. You can create a meetup for whatever you want. And so everyone would try to cram those into the free days, and then all of a sudden the free days aren't free. So, yes. So I did need alone time. I just didn't give myself enough of it on the second one.
Yeah.
So, but that's all. I mean, I don't think I would do anything different, going back. I don't regret a thing. It was just a
Mhm.
great experience, and everyone, I think at the end, like, loved it. I mean, I think a few people was like, "Oh, it's a little too long," or whatever, but there's people are like, "Let's do this again. Like, let's do a long
Yeah.
one again."
I would totally do another long one. That was great.
Yeah.
That was an awesome experience, but I don't know how you could top the locations that we went to.
I know. Yeah, like, going that was the thing too. I was like going to Fi we went to 3 ports in Fiji, but 4 days because we stayed overnight in 1 port. 1 port in Samoa, 2 ports in Honolulu, but I mean, sorry, 2 ports in Hawaii, but 3 days because we stayed in Honolulu
4
twice. 4?
We did
Oh,
3
yeah,
ports, 4
Hawaii,
days.
Maui. 4 yeah, so 4 days in Hawaii, and then Vanuatu. I always say Vanuatu.
Vanuatu with an
Vanuatu.
N.
Just Mystery Island, which was actually my favorite port because all we could do was just chill and, like, we were just on this, like, uninhabited island, and we just, played volleyball, we chilled out, like, it was a perfect beach day. Yeah, and then we finished in Sydney, so it was just cool. It was places like I would never just go to Samoa. I would never just well, Fiji's different, but, like, I'm glad I got to go to Fiji and, do what I did, and that was, yeah, that was really cool too, so, yeah, how do you top that? Did you feel like going let's talk about the first cruise, did you feel like it was clicky?
Think okay, so yes and no. Yes and no to it being clicky. There's people who they know each other from previous cruises or from traveling together. And as a result, because they're people that maybe either the only time that they see each other or they haven't seen each other for a while. So when they connect is basically on the cruise. So understandably, those people gravitate towards each other. And as a result, in some ways that can feel, especially as a newcomer when you don't know anyone, it can initially, I think, feel very clicky. But very quickly, I think it's really easy to understand that it's very open and it's really easy to get to know people. But I would say some people are sort of more clicky than others, just like in any other, type of
Mhm.
experience. But I would say that it feels more like it feels initially clicky, but in actuality, it's probably not as clicky as what you think it is, was my experience. But that's me.
Yeah, I agree. I think any situation in life that you show up to a room and you don't know anyone in the room, that's gonna be your initial, like, "Oh gosh," starting any hobby that you have, like, trying anything out, people are gonna know each other. Yes, I felt very intimidated. I was like, "Oh my gosh," again, no research, didn't know this has been around forever. I was like, "Oh boy, like, there's a lot of people that know each other." And that's okay, first of all, but also by the end, I mean, I don't feel like I couldn't, go sit down with anyone at any table, eating wise, going to lunch, dinner, whatever. So yes and no. I can't really pick out like, oh, definitely this group and this, it's just we're all there for the same reason. And I would find it very hard. I mean, I know that there are people out there that, like, you can't sit at their table, but, like, I don't want them on the cruise then, like,
Yeah. Well,
that's
and
not
I
what it's
feel
about, it's connecting.
I remember the first one that we went on, they actually like in the newbie meeting or whatever, they encouraged you to actually go and try to eat with as many people as possible. Go to a different table at every lunch. Go to a different table at every breakfast. And like there was an encouragement to do that. And I actually, because although I'm an extroverted person, I'm very shy actually initially. I'm not very comfortable going up to people and being like, "Will you be my friend?" Like I'm not good with that. I always feel so awkward trying to make like new friends. And if I feel so needy when I'm doing it. So I was petrified for every lunch and dinner initially. And I was just like, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to challenge myself. And honestly, I ended up meeting so many people because I purposely went and just sat at so many tables and met so many people as a result of that. So it was really nice and it was interesting because I would get up really early at the first, half of the cruise and I would meet people really easily that way. But it shifts and changes as the cruise goes on and as the time zones change and all of those things. But yeah, it was really easy to actually sit down and talk to people once you got comfortable with the uncomfortableness of it, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so 2 questions. Does being stuck on a boat accelerate connection? And yeah, accelerate connection, and then do you think people are on there to date? I don't know
Okay.
if 2 different questions, I guess, but
Yeah, let's start with the first. Does being stuck on a boat accelerate connection? Yes. You can't run. You can hide. Like don't get me wrong, you can hide places. It is easier than you would think in some ways to avoid people, which is wonderful because if there's people that you want to avoid, it's possible. You can do it. Now, like you if there's someone that you're talking to that you can't or that you want to talk to, yes, it can deepen things very quickly because you're in these abnormal situations where there's not as much outside influence and outside interactions. You're still going to the same conference with the same people, same dinners with the same people. You know, there's only so many places that you can go in the boat. So, yes, it would accelerate connections for sure. I can only say from a friendship side of things, I can't really speak to the romantic
I
side of
feel like it
things.
was like adult camp. That's what I kept like
Yes.
referencing. It was like you're at
Yes.
a camp because you
Yeah.
are all sleeping in the same vicinity at night and going to
Yeah.
breakfast together and, you can it
You
was
have the
yes,
same
it did
kickball
accelerate.
activities that everyone's doing,
Yeah,
100%. And to
like
be clear, there was kickball that was done. There was soccer that was being played on this cruise. So
yeah.
kickball is a real example.
Yeah, and that was the good and the bad. It was like, well, you could hide, but you honestly couldn't get away. Like if that was like
Mm,
and that was when when we move over to like the dating part, it's like starts of speed dating. I'm like, this is a long cruise. If something
yeah,
goes wrong, which they probably did, you're gonna see this person for the next 3 weeks.
100% you will. 100% you
So
will.
I will say one of the coolest things about the first cruise for me was so we did a speed dating event. The events were different each cruise, which I enjoyed the second one a little better, but the speed dating event for the first one was like we were just sitting in a line, like there was like all of us in a
It was
line and then
I would call it traditional speed dating. Like
yes,
it was
and
a
then the guys
traditional speed
would
dating.
yeah, rotate
Hop a
every 3
seat.
minutes or something, and
Yeah.
I was, what the heck? And everyone's like we're almost like shouting at each other because there's so many people in the room,
Yeah.
but I got to the last guy and we had a little bit more time to talk because we were the last people. And it was just so interesting because he was American and he had spoke the day before, so I like recognized him. He was part of like the welcome crew or whatever. And I was like, "Oh yeah, you said you were a teacher." He's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm not nomadic. I live closer to home in Tennessee." And I was like, "That's crazy. I'm from Tennessee." And he was basically he is a teacher at my high school.
God.
That yes, and we're in
Stop
the
it. And
middle
you met
of
on
the
the
ocean.
cruise.
Yes, and he was like, "Yeah." "Oh, I'm in Knoxville." And I was like, "That's where I'm from." And I said, "You don't teach at Farragut High School, do you?" And he goes, "Yep." And I was like, "No way." And my business teacher hired him. And, like, I don't know half of my teachers' names from high school, but I know her because we're friends on Facebook. And I was like, "Christy Ramsey is your like boss?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "This is the wildest thing I've ever." And it was Curtain. Do you remember Curtain?
Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
That's
Curtain.
crazy.
And again, like, he went back. We got to Japan, and then he flew straight back to the States. Like, 3 weeks
Hey,
too much for a teacher, or not 3 weeks, I guess it was only 2, but, yeah. But, like, that's the connect you're like, the world is so small, like, so incredibly small. I'm like, "This is wild."
honestly, if traveling has taught me anything, it is how small the world is.
It's
Yeah.
fun. I think the fear of the unknown is, like, what keeps people not traveling, but if you are worried about that, go on a nomad cruise.
Well, it's
At
like,
least you'll
honestly, you
have a
can find familiar
group of
anywhere.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
um, to start traveling with. So okay, what doesn't get posted on social media? Like, what are obviously, we post pictures and stuff, and what's the messy side of Nomad Cruise? Like, what's the stuff
I mean, honestly, I don't post anything on social media, so I'm the wrong person to answer
Heather
that question. I am the worst. I'm the worst. Let's be real.
okay, but
Let's call
think
it
about
like
the
it is.
Nomad Cruise social media, like, what's not getting posted?
I mean, I think about like the funny moments that I had with my friends on the cruise that are some of actually my favorite moments that I had that, yeah, I don't think those ever got to social media. I think it's just like sometimes it's the daily activities, sometimes it's the silly little moments, sometimes it's the hookups. Like there's a lot I think that it's impossible for things to be posted on social media. You know what I mean? Like it's impossible for those things to really be covered because there's just so much going on and so much happening. There's a lot of people that aren't regular posters that you don't see what they're doing and what's happening. Like, you may not have seen all the board games that were taking place,
Yeah, that's
like
true.
all the murder on the clock tower that was happening, all
My
of
gosh,
the
that
puzzling
game
that
is
was
so
taking
confusing.
place.
Yeah,
I have never played it. I was like, I don't
to
understand
watch.
what's happening, so I'm just not going to participate. But it sounded like so much fun, and I would love to do it. If someone would sit down and explain it to me like I'm a
No, I don't
three-year-old.
wanna do it. I wanna watch because people get mean. I mean, it's, like, all for show, it's, like, for the game, but
Yeah.
they're like, "You're the traitor because you said this," and I'm like, my anxiety, I was, like, watching, I was like,
Yeah.
"Everyone's so mean to each other."
Yeah. No, and I'm not a, like, take a game seriously kinda girly, like, I like fun. If we're gonna be
Mhm,
really competitive, I'm not that girl for that. I like fun.
yeah.
I wanna be enjoyable.
One of the things, like, didn't get posted or whatever was I was like the biggest thing about this cruise was, like, I was connecting a lot with people. Like, as the newbie nomad ambassador, was talking to everyone. I made, like, good connections for, like, friendships and some connections on the boat for dating, whatever, which was honestly such a cool experience because, like I said, like, it felt like adult camp, but it also felt like Love Island, and it also felt like The Bachelor because it's like, I'm interested in him, you're also interested in him? Oh, we're friends. Like, it's like,
Yeah,
it's
how do
just
we
like this
navigate that?
little bubble. So I thought that was a cool thing because talking to men on the cruise, like, you could get deep really fast, and it would
Yeah.
if they didn't want that, like, obviously they would say that at first. But if it's like if they didn't wanna listen to that, then they're uncool. Like, it was like, "All right, well then, bye." Like, so I think it got things serious if you wanted it to be serious, if you wanted to have a serious conversation with someone. I learned a lot about myself. I feel like I had a whole 27-day therapy session, about how I dated wrong my whole life, and I
God.
mean, but so it was pretty heavy for me by the end. I think I just was like a ball of emotion. And so I would at night, if like everyone was going to bed, everyone went to bed pretty early, well, like midnight one because there was nothing else open. And so I would take a walk around like the promenade at night and listen to music or not, or just kind of like just walk until like my head calmed down. I thought that was cool. And then like that turned into I like saw someone that was walking and then we went up to like the 10th deck and sat and like chatted. Like we were just sitting watching the stars and just chatting and that kind of, that type of stuff. And it's just like those unexpected meetings and those routines that
Mhm.
you can make for yourself that you don't post and you don't need to, but those are the cool things that can happen if you want them to happen. Or if you wanna get, like, 10 hours of sleep, you can do that too. That was not me, so
Yeah. Did I tell you about the game that I tried to come up with that was, like, on the cruise that I did? And I don't know if anyone who didn't sit and have dinner with us was aware of this. But I started at all the dining room tables. There was like little cards inside of the two magnetized things. I started
Okay.
opening those up and writing messages and then closing them back up to see if people would open them and find them.
What cards?
Like the numbered cards. So every day there was like a number for what table you were sitting at and then who the servers were.
See, I went to the ballroom or not ballroom. I went to the dining room. I'm not kidding, 3 times.
Really? Okay. Because I'm vegetarian, it had the best options for food for me. So I would go because I could pre-order my dinner
Mhm.
for this. I actually, dinners were some of my favorite times actually, because we would have like family dinner. So dinner is always a roll of the dice on the
Mhm.
cruise because you don't know who you're going to sit with. And for the first little while, I was like, I'm going to not sit with my friends. I'm going to try to mix it up and sit with different people. And that was fine. And I had some nice dinners, but I also had some long dinners, we'll say. And so what I started doing then is we would sit with the same people every day, just about. And it just got crazy. We would have people commenting on how loud we were laughing and the things that were happening. And we would like, we're sharing food all around the table. Like it was so family style.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were honestly some of my favorite parts of the whole cruise was like what I call our family dinners that we had. And it
Yeah.
was hilarious. They were great. Top tier. Top tier. I miss them. I
I
genuinely miss them so much.
I went the last few days and I was like, "Oh, dang, these would have been great." But the whole thing for me was I don't eating's weird for me, like, I enjoy eating, but I don't know, yeah, but I'd be, like, coming from the jacuzzi, and I'm like, "Oh," like, you have to get I didn't know that, like, you could wait to get dinner until you could order at 8:30 instead of 7:30 because I was like, "I'm not hungry now," like, but anyway, so I made all these excuses. Also, the first night when we were there, we all had dinner and it was so overstimulating because it was so loud because everyone was in the dining room at the same time, and I was like, "I can't do
Hmm.
this." And so I was just
Yeah.
really overstimulated, so I just was like, "No, I'm gonna eat when I want to eat." But anyway, so by the end of the cruise, I started going back in the dining hall. But yeah, there was when I was walking in the dining hall with someone the last like, oh, it was JJ. I think it was just JJ and I, and we walked in and there was no like there wasn't a lot of tables available, but there was one no, it wasn't JJ. It was someone else. There was a tribe because he was part of the tribe. There was a tribe dinner, which the tribes are a completely different like topic. Everyone's part of a tribe, so they have their own
Yeah.
like built-in friends. But there was a tribe dinner going on, and it was me and like one other person. And then I was like, oh well, we're having a tribe dinner, but a couple people aren't making it. Like if you want to have a seat, and it was so fun. It was like they've been doing that. They've been having like kind of frequently tribe dinners, and so I sat there, and then they had a thing of cards. Like Sylvia brought out her cards, and they were just kind of like asking questions and getting deep,
It's nice.
and deep. It's cool that like I just don't feel like there's like a threat of burnout on this ship. Like you can either do it or you don't. You can, I mean, it's the same thing, but like
Yeah.
would say like food burnout, yes, but but you can also, okay, I'm gonna go switch it up, or I'm gonna
The
go sit in
beauty
my
of the
room.
cruise, it's a pure choose your own adventure. So if you burn out, that's because you didn't take the time because you have to
Mhm.
choose. You have to enjoy that you're going to miss out on some things, and that's okay. Or you have to do everything and know that you're going to be exhausted. Like you're going to hit a wall especially if you're doing a long one, like you're going to hit a wall where you can't go any further. So if
Mhm.
you're doing a short one, everyone can do a sprint, okay? But if you're going to do a marathon, you got to you got to know that you're going to have to take some water breaks. You're not going to be able to go and do the whole thing in one go. So I think that yeah, as long as you plan accordingly, you'll be fine.
Would you do a Nomad cruise again?
100%. I'm
Mhm.
planning on it being a once a year occurrence for me as long as I can like make it work. One thing that sort of I'm wish I knew what the next cruise was because I
Me
have a
too.
feeling I heard murmurs. It'll probably get announced on this cruise actually. So please text me as soon as you hear what it is and
Yeah,
whatever the discount code is. So
for sure.
yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you?
We'll send our listeners the discount code.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But usually, like, they announce what the next cruise is on the cruise that you're going on. So this one, they'll probably announce whatever the fall one is. And I heard a murmur that it's from Europe. to like South America is what I've heard. And I'm like, could we please make it the other way maybe? Because I'm planning on doing European summer. So I may be out of Europe days if it's
Well, you
in the
could
fall.
cruise there and then row back.
Yeah, problem solved.
Yeah, easy.
Just don't step foot on land. Just don't even
Cruise there and then work the cruise on the way back.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'll be out of Schengen region days. So likely I may not be able to go for that reason only. And I'm like, that doesn't work.
How are you already that far planned out? Just take a few days.
It's because once I find out from you guys what the next route is, I may adjust things accordingly. But in my head, I've decided that I'm doing your full European summer. That is the goal. That is the plan.
So
and I have a conference in October that or in the tail end of September. So I'm going to be back in Canada for a bit. So I've actually, I feel very loosely organized right now because I know where I'm going to be for the next few months. I actually have a loose plan up until the end of June, beginning of July, and then for the start of the fall. So I've got a couple months of like leeway, and I have a rough list of where I'm going in the summer already. Like I have like 7 of the countries that I'm planning to go in the summer mapped out already.
Wow.
Who is she?
I don't know where I'm going March 1st, so.
Yeah, I'm doing a very like planned out travel 2026 for me.
It'll be Asia. Like I'll stay in Asia until it gets too hot, I think. And then I don't know. I don't know like if I want to go somewhere for the summer or like go home. I love Europe. Like Europe's my jam, but it's expensive in the summer. The best part also about NomadCruise is the post cruise because there's reunions after the cruise, and I successfully, I think, went to like almost every reunion after the last one. It started in Sydney. We had meetups and, the reunion was Sydney. And the next week was Cairns, and everyone went scuba diving. I did not scuba dive. I snorkeled. That was a reunion. And then like the next one was Bali. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just go to Bali. And so I flew to Bali, and then I had to leave and go to Europe. But that's the cool part because the big motto is like the cruise is just the beginning. Like that's what
it's 100% true.
I like Tammy, good friends with her. Fanny, good friends with her after the cruise. Cruise.
Yeah. You become these you meet people and become way closer with people after the cruise. Even Tammy, how I met her, we briefly met on the first cruise and we became really good friends after the cruise. Like it's just wild. It's surprising.
Yeah, and Tammy's like, you were on NC-13? I was like, I know, I was in my room most of the time. That's how people, I was like, notice me? I was on Japan, and they're like, you were? And I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't feel bad at all. Yeah, so, anyway. Well, good. Well, I will keep everyone up to date with this next one. Hoping to do some interviews or something on the cruise. We will see. But stay tuned for the next episode of Location Confused.
Come listen, subscribe. We'll have more of this. That's how you're supposed to do it, right? Did I do it right? This is so
good job, Heather.
Thanks. Thanks for hanging out with us, truly.
If this episode made you laugh, think, or feel slightly more normal,
share it with a friend who's also a little location confused.
You can find us on Instagram at Location Confused.
And don't forget to follow or subscribe so you don't miss future episodes.
We'll see you next time,
wherever we are.